I look like I'm chewing gum, but I'm not. I'm chewing
boba bubbles.
boba bubbles.
Boba bubbles. Hi everyone, it's Emma, and today I'm here with my mom. Mommy. So, I get a lot of questions about like relationships, love, heartbreak, breakups, etc., especially revolving around like my personality type, or being an HSP, or being an INFJ, or being an introvert, and like what I've learned from relationships and how I approach them, etc. So I thought that since it's almost Valentine's Day, I'd bring my mom in and we could chat about all those things.
Yeah.
She is much wiser than me and knows a lot of stuff, gives me a lot of advice on a regular basis, so I thought that she could share it with you as well. You're being so quiet, it's so weird.
I'm just waiting for letting you do your thing.
Oh, okay.
Talk when, yeah.
I went to Instagram to get some specific questions from you guys about like what you wanted to hear, so I thought that I would kind of read them out, and if you have an answer, you can answer. If I have an answer, I can answer. If you have something to say, just tap me.
Okay.
Let me know.
Sounds good.
One of the questions that I got the most of, which I got like a variation of it, is how to not overthink before getting into a relationship, like before even starting. How to not overthink, especially if you're like an INFJ. And then also, if you're an introvert or an HSP, how to not just be too scared to even like try and be in a relationship. Because there is an aspect of relationships that's like, it's scary. You're being vulnerable and opening yourself up to hurt. So you're an HSP.
Yes. I'm an extroverted HSP.
Yeah.
But not highly extroverted, just tipping over into the extroverted side. So I've never found that was something that hindered me. I've always been open. And I would say actually that being like hesitant about being in relationships and even talking in that way is common for your generation. But when I was younger, that wasn't really anything that you heard very often.
Like people just kind of dated and you just like,
yeah,
weren't so hesitant about it?
Not at all. Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember that. That's just my experience. But I would say to someone who is thinking that way and who is hesitant, on the one hand, it's understandable.
Yeah.
It's like on the one hand, you're right. Opening yourself up to a relationship, you have to be vulnerable in order to have a true relationship. And there is an aspect of all relationships that is unknown. I would first just want to acknowledge that's true. You don't necessarily have to like stuff that down. I think you want to look that square in the face and say, yeah, that's true. I could get hurt. That's true. There's a lot of unknowns, but you don't want to let that be the ruling and reigning intention.
I think that's what I would say too, is that I am the kind of person who would overthink and be like, well, maybe let's just not. But I've just realized at some point through my life that I don't want to let fear rule anything in my life.
Ginger, lie down, baby.
Come.
No? You want to come up?
Come on, girl.
Okay, lie down. Come on, lie down. Join the conversation. Yeah.
Good girl.
At least you're sort of okay.
Kind of. There's Ginger. She feels left out.
This is another aspect of that kind of thinking is the false premise that we have control. And we don't. We can't determine outcomes. You can't overthink your way into safety or overthink your way into like controlling and determining outcomes.
Right. So like that fear of like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, you're right. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You have to be okay with like not having total control over things, because in relationships, you don't have control over the other person.
Right. You run the risk of trying to manipulate that other person and seeing them as something to control. And they're not. They're a person. They're a human being. They're someone to love and to serve.
I think one of the things I was going to say is that like fear of, well, I might get hurt. It's almost just a misunderstanding of being hurt, being vulnerable equals bad. Whereas like in the first relationship I ever had, I had all those fears and all those things, and then in a lot of ways they all came true. And like I did get hurt, and it turned out for good for me. Like I became a lot stronger through those hurts, and I learned a lot about love after the relationship, and like through the heartbreak and through the breakups and stuff. So I think if you let the fear hold you back, you're going to miss out on the good.
Yeah.
But then also just through getting hurt, there's usually good that comes out of that, like maturing. Or
If we get hurt, it doesn't mean we're not going to be okay.
yeah.
You know, we're going to be okay. And there's meaning there. It's meaningful, especially when you embrace it and you are open to learning and growing.
That's actually a really good segue into another question that a bunch of you asked, which was just like, how do you deal with breakup? Like, how do you like get over it or move on or like deal with the hurt that comes from a breakup? And I think one of the things that for me I've seen as most important, and I think you really encouraged me to do this, was just when you do get hurt or like when a relationship does end, because no matter what the circumstances, if the relationship ends, there's some loss there. There's sadness, like that is a loss. So in that, like in the hurt, to not close up and to remain open and to like, in the same way that you don't want to like hold yourself back from ever trying in the relationship, not to like close yourself up when you get hurt too, because there's a lot of learning and there's a lot of like, growing that happens through that.
Stay open and be open with other people.
Yeah.
Talk to other people and have support.
Like I went through a really difficult breakup last year, and in a strange way, it was like a really sweet time of my life because my friends and my loved ones just like came around me and were so loving, and even like friends that I kind of thought were casual friends, I got to see that they were like really there for me and stuff like that, and I just felt so like supported and felt so loved by my friends and the people who love me, that like not romantic relationships, because I was open with them and I was like, yeah, it hurts and it's kind of hard and it's like a weird time, that adjustment period when you're going through the breakup.
And it's also like something that everyone has been through.
Yeah.
Almost.
A lot of people. Yeah. It's
So-
very unifying in a weird way. Like you listen to the Taylor Swift songs and you're like, she just knows.
Yep. So true.
Another commonly asked question from that little sticker, we were talking about this earlier because I was curious what you had observed or experienced, is just like, can you be friends post breakup? Like, is it possible? We were talking about this as we ate ramen today because I was like, you know, I don't know, Mom.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that most of the time, no, of course, anything can happen. But
Like, there's no rules for like, oh no, you can never be friends.
no.
But I think it very much so depends on the situation. Like for me, I don't think I will ever be friends with an ex because of my personality. Like I just know myself, and I know that that would cause so much like overthinking to happen unless there's like some specific reason that we like should stay. Like it would be positive to stay friends for something,
Yeah.
for some specific circumstance.
Right. I can't think of like any. I was trying to find like examples of like when that happened, but I can't think of any. We just kind of said that like it's hard to think clearly
Yeah.
so soon after a breakup, and
Yeah.
like I just know that like looking back, I can see like, oh no, that was better
To not be friends.
Yeah. But in the moment, it felt like, because you want to hold on to that relationship. Or,
Yeah.
You know, you might want to hold on to at least, you want to hold on to the friendship part of
Yeah.
the relationship. So it's like, it's understandable, but in like an ideal maybe world,
Yeah.
it would work. But
If people weren't so messy, but like the fact of the matter is,
yeah.
yeah. Specifically, one person said what to do if like the other person doesn't want to be friends. And I think you just really got to let them go. There's an aspect in a relationship and in a breakup too of like respecting the other person's
Definitely.
wishes.
Yeah.
And if they say they can't be friends, you just got to trust that they know themselves.
That's in some ways not easier because, like in a less painful kind of easier way, but it's more clear. The other person is clearly saying, you know, I don't want to or can't, or this isn't for whatever reason gonna work for me.
Yeah.
Here's your answer. You know, you just accept that, respect it,
And then move on.
yeah.
Somebody asked, what do you think about a girl pursuing the guy instead of the guy pursuing the girl?
Do it. Done. Move on.
Like I've like asked someone out before or like told them I liked them first. It went great for me. So the only thing I was gonna say is like not to have a double standard. For example, if you're a girl and you want to pursue a guy, go for it. But like if a guy was being pushy and pursuing a girl, everyone would be like, hey, that's not right. But when a girl is pushy, like if a guy says no, like be respectful. Like give the same standards that you would have for a guy pursuing a girl as you do for a girl pursuing a guy.
I don't think that there's any precedent
Yeah.
that says that you can't express to someone an interest dating them or getting to know them? Or
This is like kind of a similar question, but not totally. But somebody asked, how do you deal with it if you have a guy friend and you think he might like you and he's like making hints and stuff, but you don't like him back? In other words, like if someone likes you and you don't like them, how do you deal with it? We also were just talking about this kind of recently, because I was saying that when I like someone, I feel pretty confident and like I could ask them out if I wanted to. But when someone likes me and I don't like them, I just feel like the most awkward being on the planet. I'm like, what to do? How to human? I don't know.
wait, what did she say last night? Sound of the police. We get all of our wisdom about relationships from The Bachelor.
No.
No. What was the question?
When somebody likes
someone
you.
likes you.
Yeah.
I guess my advice would be to fight that awkwardness, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's going to make them feel even worse. Because it's normal. It's
Yeah.
totally normal. If
Like
someone...
having crushes is not a big deal.
No, not at all. I mean, if you feel uncomfortable, if that other
yeah.
person is making you feel uncomfortable, then you need to tell them.
But also, like, if it's just kind of hinting, like, if you just kind of feel like they have a crush on you, but they haven't, like, asked you out or anything, don't overthink it too much. Like, one, it's not really your job to, like, guess how people think and feel.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just, like, let it go and, like, continue doing your normal thing. Not to, like, overthink it and become too self-aware, because I know for me, that's when, like, I become really awkward.
Also, I kind of noticed that, like, I remember this in myself, and I've seen it so much in other people. Almost like there's almost like an overreaction to if someone likes you and you don't like them. It's like, like a no, like just such a strong, like, and maybe try and fight that.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't need to be like a harsh rejection.
I don't know who said this or, like, where I heard this, but it has been helpful for me to think about as I, like, just go through life and have interactions with guys. Somebody said that girls tend to have separate categories for, like, guys I could be friends with and then guys I could date. Whereas guys, it's more like if they would be friends with you, they would probably date you too. Like, it's more of a general category. And again, this is like a wild generalization, so it doesn't always go this way. But for me, I've, like, kept that in mind in general, because I do feel like girls tend to be like, but I'm just their friend.
Yes.
Whereas guys tend to be like, yeah, you're my friend, and also I like you.
Yes. That was a study.
Was it?
It was in a book that I read, and it was a study that they did, and that was one of the things they found.
Because then it's, like, not so shocking when you're like, oh,
Right.
he likes me.
You were in this category.
Yeah.
And you can't be
Now
in
you're
that
trying
category.
to jump over to this category.
Right. And guys are like, wait, what? There's a
Yeah.
category?
I think this will probably be, like, our last question.
Okay.
But a lot of people wanted to know, like, how do you know when you're in love? What is love?
What is romantic love? Like,
Yeah.
Is that what they're asking? Oh.
Yeah, what is romantic love? Like, how would you know that you've fallen in love with someone?
Well, that's not complicated at all.
You just know.
I think it's different for everyone. There isn't like one set way. You know, some people literally love at first sight happens, you know?
Yeah, like, we know people who it's like, I saw her that day and I was like, I want to marry that person, and then they did.
Yeah, right. That's how it happened for them. And then you've got, like, all the way the other spectrum of, like, arranged marriages.
Yeah.
And, like, they met each other on the day
Yeah.
that they got married, and they
Fell in love.
fell in love later on, you know, and it happened that way. So,
What is love?
it don't hurt me.
That's been playing through my head for the past minute.
There's, like, the romantic love that is very, I'm stealing from C.S. Lewis right now.
Love him.
Yeah. He talks about romantic love where it's like you're looking at each other and you're like, you're passionate about each other. And then there's like friendship love where it's like you're more side by side and you're looking at something external and you're both going, you're like, I love that. And the other one goes, I love that too. And you're like, you love that too? You know, and you, yay!
Yeah.
Whereas romantic love, you're into each other. But that kind of feeling is just a small part of love.
Yeah, like, there's the feeling of being in love when you have all the, like, warm fuzzies and you just kind of, like, know that you love someone. But then there's, like, the active kind of love that you have to choose to be loving towards someone.
Yeah.
And I think that you can have one without having the other.
That fluttery love is just short-lived. Love is patient. Love is kind. Does not envy. Does not boast. If you're being patient, if you're being kind, You're more interested in their best interest than your own. If you're doing those things, you're loving someone. I mean, I've been married for
Almost 25 years.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be 25 years this June. And I still get those like fluttery, like excited. I still get those feelings. It's not like, oh, well, that happens the first 6 months and then never again. The end.
And then it's all bearing with.
In fact, I think the more you actively love someone, the more those feelings sustain and
it's
build
the
and
deeper
grow.
kind of like more solid, stable love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your favorite fictional couple?
Women like right away. I think Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy.
Yes, that's my first
They're a
thought.
classic. I don't even know mine. I asked you that and I don't know what my answer is.
My second one is from Wendell Berry's book, Jayber Crow.
The book is called Jayber Crow?
Yeah, the book is called Jayber Crow, and that's the main character's name is Jayber Crow, and he loves a woman.
Oh, you told me this.
Yeah.
I like almost cried with you describing this book to me. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, definitely top 5 favorite books of all time. But anyways, that relationship is up there.
That's one of those, like the kind of love we were just talking about. It's that kind of love.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite right now. I feel like I need like a new one. Nikolai and whoever he's gonna end up with in this new book.
Ron and Hermione.
Oh, stop. The end.
What about Anne of Green Gables? You gotta pick
Gilbert and Anne. Oh, I do love them. They might be my fave. Like when I was little, I was like, this is it. When you're like 10 and you read Anne of Green Gables and you're like, this is definitely what love is.
Yep, yep.
He waited for her while that nasty, greasy guy. She was like almost gonna pick the like smooth talking handsome one, and I was like, what are you doing?
What's wrong with
Pick
you?
Gilbert. He was love at first slate broken over your head.
Yeah. I love it. First braid pull.
Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for sending in questions. I hope that you guys liked listening to our little chit chat with my mom.
Chit chat chat.
Chitty chat chat. Okay.
Bye everybody.
Bye. Happy Valentine's Day.